Hello again, everyone. It's I, Mitch. We are back with one of our greatest lists to date. We are featuring the top 10 best story games with great plots. We take a look back at some of the best games with the most memorable experiences ever made in the gaming industry. Without further ado, let's start with our number 10. Number 10, Persona series. Since its arrival in 1996, the series has undergone massive changes. Each new title has been an impressive improvement on the last, coupled with new characters and concepts. The franchise explains Personas' manifestations of the characters' personalities. More specifically, they're described as a mask each character wears, in the face of hardship. Also shadows, for example, the unconscious aspect of one's personality, a concept that has a lot of negative connotation. In the Persona series, shadows are major foes. Characters rely heavily on their personas in battle, using them to perform more powerful attacks. In the early days of the series, characters could equip multiple personas in battle. Later, gameplay was restricted to the game's protagonist. As of June 2021, the series has sold over 15 million copies worldwide. It is often cited as the modern-day horror stories. The game has been named as a cult classic and is considered as one of the best JRPGs of all time. Coming in at number 9, Mass Effect series. BioWare is known for creating some of the most engaging, popular, and impactful narratives in the gaming industry, with the Mass Effect trilogy as one of the best. The world of Mass Effect, the choices, the aliens, romances, and above all, the characters have become staples of modern pop culture. The story of the Mass Effect trilogy follows Commander Shepard, a member of humanity's Systems Alliance in a future version of our universe where humans live with coexisting alien races. During a mission, Shepard comes across a machine that came from a civilization called Reapers, who are hell-bent on destroying all life in the galaxy, and Shepard has to save all of them. In typical space soap opera fashion, friendship, romance, and politics also present themselves in the narrative. A major reason why Mass Effect has so much appeal, even today, is how well it blends traditional sci-fi tropes with the video game genre and is still a grand adventure. Coming in at number 8, Disco Elysium. It's an indie masterpiece of the RPG genre that will certainly impact other games in the future. It does what it aims to do in the best way possible. That is, to tell a story. You wake up in a hotel room with no memory of where you are or even of who you are. But you'll quickly learn that you are a detective in charge of solving a murder case. As the game progresses, the mystery of your identity and the murder case slowly unfold. You talk to people and learn important bits of information about everything, and it really fits your job as a detective. There are a few plot twists that make things incredibly interesting, but we won't spoil them for you. Instead of getting a list of main and side quests, you only have a list of tasks organized by the date you got them. As you play, you get to learn how the city you're in was shaped by wars and political events. Not only the world in which you're in has great depth, but also do its inhabitants. It's an engaging, thought-provoking, and incredibly satisfying experience that you'll certainly remember for a good while. Coming in at number 7, To the Moon. In this little RPG, you control 2 scientists who live in a world where it's possible to recreate memories. This enables you to give dying people a chance to live out their final requests, even if only in their minds. Our scientists start by arriving at the house of a dying elderly man named John, whose last wish is to visit the moon. He doesn't seem to have indicated why, so scientists infiltrate his mind and search for clues to discover the root of his desire. Once they've traveled through stored-up memories from senior citizen to child, the plan is to effectively relive his entire life in reverse to find out why. As players explore John's mundane and heartbreaking life, they encounter several strange mysteries. For example, why is his house full of origami rabbits? Why does his wife seem obsessed with lighthouses? The revelations to these miniature mysteries are often as surprising as they are heartbreaking. To the Moon may be light on gameplay, but it is a storytelling powerhouse that explores the themes of love and regret. And by the end, you will feel encouraged to reflect on some of the most important relationships in your own life. Coming in at number 6, Firewatch. On the strength of its gripping story, Brilliant branching script, wholly convincing voice acting performances, and stunning art direction, it's easily one of our favorite and most memorable game experiences of this decade. Once you arrive, there in the woods, you are the Lone Ranger. Firewatch's powerful ambience takes hold very quickly. The story takes place over the course of an entire summer with different days, which are treated as chapters of the story playing out at different hours of the day and night. You'll rappel down cliff sides, climb up rock formations, explore the lookout tower that doubles as your home for the summer, and more. In fact, Firewatch's script, unlike most video games, is really tense, scary, and funny, sometimes all within a few minutes of each other. Not a lot of games can successfully claim that. It is among the very best of the first-person narrative genre, and it reminds us what video game storytelling is capable of in the right hands. Number 5. Telltale's The Walking Dead series. Originally released as 5 episodes starting in 2012, The Walking Dead, the game, casts us as Lee Everett, a convicted murderer on his way to the big house. However, the zombie apocalypse breaks out and gives Lee new goals in life, namely, surviving and protecting a little girl named Clementine. The Walking Dead is an adventure game, but it's not the kind of adventure game you will expect. The big moments come when you choose how Lee responds to situations and what he says in conversations with his fellow survivors. Choices and dialogue pop up on the screen with timers, and you have seconds to pick exactly what you're going to do or say. Whatever you choose, and the game moves on, adapting its story to each decision. Every player is tasked with the same goal of protecting Clem, but the way you do it might be completely different. The decisions you're making in the moment have ripples that go throughout the entire adventure. The story is what drives the action here, and it's a tale no one should miss. Coming in at number 4, Bioshock Series. It's a first-person action RPG set in the late 1940s after World War II. Players find themselves trapped in an underwater utopia gone wrong, and must genetically enhance themselves to survive. The city is called Rapture, a metropolis built under the sea by the person named Andrew Ryan. The driving force behind the game is your quest to discover why this Andrew Ryan's alluring vision of an artistic utopia failed so completely, and why you've stumbled upon it. Even though Ryan spits out what seems to resemble totalitarian propaganda, you can't help but sympathize with him. The thematic blending and twining of Bioshock's personalities is so powerful, it acts like any good book or movie, assaulting you with its ideas, popping into your thoughts when you least expect it. There is an art of Bioshock in the gorgeously realized watery halls of Rapture. It's in a little sister's expression of thanks when you choose to save her, or the utter silence if you harvest instead. Bioshock stands as a monolithic example of the entertaining gameplay and sinister and engrossing storyline. Up next at number 3, Red Dead Redemption 2. It's an epic tale of life in America's unforgiving heartland, an action-adventure game set in 1899, showing the end of the Wild West era. We play as Arthur Morgan, as a gang member. After a robbery goes badly wrong, Arthur Morgan and his gang are forced to flee, with federal agents and the best bounty hunters in the nation following them. The gang must rob, steal, and fight their way across the world in order to survive. The massive world of Red Dead Redemption 2 features so much to explore, from the muddy livestock town, the growing metropolis of St. Denis, snowy mountains, gator-infested swamps, to thick forests and flat deserts. The main story missions themselves are a cocktail of high-stakes heists, deadly shootouts, desperate rescues, and thrilling chases mixed with a lengthy list of other activities. Red Dead Redemption 2 stands as one of the greatest games of the modern age. It's a gorgeous depiction of an ugly period that's patient, polished, and a huge amount of fun to play, and it's combined with Rockstar's best storytelling to date. Number 2, The Witcher series. Based on the book series by Polish author Andrzej Sapkowski, it is an epic action role-playing game. The story takes place in a medieval fantasy world that follows Geralt of Rivia, one of a few monster hunters who are known as Witchers. In The Witcher 1, Witchers suddenly get attacked by a group of assailants, who escape with some formula of Witcher creation. Then, Geralt pursues this faction while trying to recover his own lost memories. When Geralt finally slays the villain and returns to King Foltest with news of his success, the king is assassinated by another Witcher, and Geralt is framed for the king's murder. leading directly into the Witcher 2 game. In this second chapter, Geralt starts his journey again to clear his name by finding the real culprit. A concurrent plot of the game is Geralt's attempts to recover lost memories, learning more about his lover Yennefer, and the mythical Wild Hunt, which leads to the third game where Geralt searches for his adopted daughter, Ciri, who is on the run from the Wild Hunt due to her blood powers. The Witcher games are known for many different paths and storylines, along with multiple endings. Often, there is no clear good or evil. You have to choose the lesser or more of two evils. The many characters who play a part in the story are also one of the key factors. Though the quest-heavy main story is epic, the option of truly amazing and award-winning side quests is where the Witcher series really shines. They elevate the Witcher series to a plane only few other RPGs inhabit. Number 1, The Last of Us series. It's an action-adventure game by Naughty Dog. The story follows Joel, a grizzled and tired survivor tasked with escorting a teenage girl, Ellie, across a post-apocalyptic lush green world. But it's wild out there. The two become virtually inseparable, even if they are at first skeptical of one another. Forced together by circumstances in a world where trust and faith are in extremely short supply, they develop a sort of father-daughter relationship as their collective experiences bind them. The interplay between Joel and Ellie, as well as the other characters you meet on your adventure, is one of the great highlights in The Last of Us. As Ellie has immunity against zombies, she is captured and prepared for surgery to create a vaccine from her, but killing her in the process. Joel doesn't accept this and escapes with Ellie while betraying others. The Last of Us Chapter 2 starts out seemingly simple, taking place about 4 years after the end of the first, and setting an older, angrier, but still immune Ellie on a quest for revenge that also hones in on the cycles of violence that can plague humanity as much as any infection. Part 2 is peppered with brutal, tragic, and poignant moments that hit harder because you take part in them, like it or not. Even when Abby does horrible things, her motivations are just as legitimate as Joel's or Ellie's. The Last of Us series is a true feat, delivering a layered, emotionally shattering story on top of stealth and action gameplay. A true masterpiece worthy of its rank as number 1. And that wraps up our list of top 10 best story games. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button and consider subscribing to us to see more videos like this in the future. See you next time.